Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of New to Weeaboo. This is number 51 for July 14th, 2021. I am Nemesis and I am joined by Alcatraz here.
Hello.
Yes, more anime stuff.
The
summer season just started. We're going to be covering some of that somewhat soon, but not for a while because we got to let them accumulate, so to speak.
Gotta have at least 3 episodes of everything else for us to go through first.
I have already started watching them, like My Next Life as a Villainess, All Brutes Lead to Doom X has gotten 2 episodes out.
Nice.
Watching that, and yep, Katarina's still an idiot, but lovable.
Yep.
Mr. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid S has premiered.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of still had the same problems it did before, which is, it's mostly wholesome, but then why are you being creepy and weird now? Biggest thing right here is the biggest thing with this new season is the new character, and she's definitely inspired a lot of discussion.
Oh boy. Yay.
The other thing is, by the time this comes out, Love Live Superstar should premiere.
Something you're excited for, definitely.
4th Love Live thing.
Idle hell.
Yep. Always for this one back to Sunrise, so not Bandai Vigil, so it's back to the usual style. Hopefully, I'm worried. One thing I'm worried about. I hope they don't just follow the same formula again. Because it's like, listen, like you got away with it once, but try not to do that every single time, please.
Yep, it's the same story every single time.
Yeah. One thing they've already changed up is I think it's like 5 characters instead of 9.
Oh, hey, might actually be able to remember them all and have time to actually flesh them all out.
Well, they did that pretty well. I remember we said that one thing they did pretty well for the first 2 series, and even Ninja Kasaki.
They did better than usual.
They did better than some other things with less characters.
Yeah.
What was that? Which one was that? Where we were like,
it was a princess. It was a Cinderella 9.
That's right. Yeah.
It was a baseball.
Somehow they did worse.
They did worse.
Don't know how. But anime. We're not here to talk about that particular idol anime yet. We will. Because of course we will.
Of course we will.
We're here to talk about a very different idol anime. When I say different, I mean different.
Very different.
Zombieland Saga Revenge came out, and I just kind of find it funny that, that was our first anime we talked about way back in episode 1, and now here we are 50 episodes later talking about it again.
Yep.
Because new season came out, and, it was... I guess spoiler free. It was wonderful. I loved it.
It was great. If you like the first one, you'll like this one.
It's more and better even.
Yep.
And just a recap of season 1, I guess, because I don't think we've really done a whole lot of this sort of thing before, where it's like we're going back to something old and.
We haven't had a lot of chances to.
Sailor Moon is the closest, but even though most of those were pretty self-contained seasons.
Yeah. So
like, okay, if you remember, it's okay, zombie idols because we got to save Saga with zombie idols somehow. We got to find out, various ways they died, and they have to come together. And yeah, they hit a lot of speed bumps. Eventually, able to make a successful show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it ended. And then this one opens up with they're now taking odd jobs and whatnot because they have a massive debt. Because it turns out they tried to go too big too quick, and now they're in severe debt because they had this 30,000 seat stadium, and they sold 500 tickets.
Yep.
That's bad.
That's bad.
Not only is it expensive, it's embarrassing.
Yep.
And so they're kind of in a slump until they get out of it, and now they have various misadventures and whatnot, and more speed bumps, and including things like a new member, and we go back to the past to see Yugiri's backstory, and then also they finally are able to get their revenge.
Yep.
Hence the name.
It was revenge on the event that went bad.
Yep,
to
revenge.
Explain the subtitle.
Yep. Zombieland Saga Revenge.
Yeah, because it was like when I first heard that it's called Revenge.
What are they getting revenge on?
What are you getting revenge on? And, yeah, okay.
People were speculating for a long time about that one, and it didn't help that the one of the preview trailers showed the destroyed Saga. So we're like, oh, was ever going to open up with the destroyed Saga?
Is this turning into a completely different kind of anime?
In many ways, actually, yes, it did.
It did, just not the way we expected.
It's one of those things that people have noted that it was technically, yes, it is an idol anime. However, it is very much willing to constantly, dip its toes in other genres randomly for no good reason other than just because we want to.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. So yeah, of course, once again, you got Kotaro Tatsumi, who is the manager who brought them all to life, essentially, or maybe he wasn't the one. But then, of course, you got number 1, Sakura Minamoto. Unlucky in life, constantly.
Yep.
Until she finally got hit by a truck, as we saw in the beginning of the first season.
Very lucky that she got hit by a truck.
Yeah, she finally got to achieve her dream of being an idol.
Yeah. By getting hit by a truck.
And of course, you got number 2, Saki Nikaido, former biker gang leader for Dorami.
The best one.
Yeah, you think. Yeah, died when she drove off a cliff in a game of chicken.
Yep.
Now is the leader of Franshushu, their group. Number 3, Ai Mizuno, former idol of a member of Iron Frill until she got electrocuted by a bolt of lightning during a live show at the same stadium that they're trying to perform at in this one. Which, oh boy, for her it's an extra personal thing.
Yep.
And also that was the same group that Sakura was going to try to join before she died, because I directly inspired her to kind of got her out of her funk or depression, essentially.
Yep, and got her to submit an application, or try to submit an application.
Yep, until
the truck came along.
Yeah. And then you got number 4, Junko Kono, a former solo idol who died in a plane crash on the way to the Saga prefecture.
Yep.
Big deal in the 70s. And then you got number 5, Yugiri, a legendary courtesan from the 1800s.
Yep.
The Meiji Restoration, actually. Turns out she did a lot of stuff in life.
She was legendary for many reasons.
Yep. A lot of things. Like, we finally got her backstory.
Yep, they finally showed it.
We'll get to that a little later.
Yeah.
And of course, the legendary child star, number 6, Lily Hoshikawa, who, will be loved and respected. You will do so. You'll always love and respect her.
Yes.
Got that? Got that. Yeah, and once again, she died after a heart failure once, after overworking herself. Her heart was already in bad shape, and then, she discovered a facial hair growing in, and, that did it.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
And last, but certainly not least, the GOAT, the legendary Tai Yamada.
Number 0.
Number 0. Who is, she likes to bite things. She likes to eat things. And she is a fantastic drummer. And, of course, a precious angel.
Yes.
The best. Like I said, he's wrong. He's wrong. Tai is the best.
Tai is close, but
Tai's the best.
I still have to go Saki.
Yeah. So yeah, that's their thing, and it's really funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's like everything from the first season, but better.
Yeah, they just cranked it up.
The one thing I will say is this is something I guess we can't really. I think I touched on this before when we were talking about Yuri on Ice, which is Mappa needs to get their crap together, because the reports about what the work conditions are like there is pretty bad.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It's the thing again. It's like it is kind of representative of the anime industry in general right now, and right now they're just the particular target because they're going extra hard and making sure people know that the work conditions are bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things. I think you're going crunch conditions from day one. That's not good.
Yeah, they're taking on way too many things
and too many projects, and they're burning through people, and they're having to hire new people and put them into high positions just because they have no other choice.
Yep.
So that's not great. Don't know what else to say about that one other than I hope they get get it all together before it blows up in their face.
Yep. Because they do. Cause I think like you've also mentioned before, representation. Mm-hmm. They tend to do better than a lot of other ones.
A lot of other anime studios tend to downplay it or rely on stereotypes or whatever, or just tease it in certain regards and never actually commit.
Yep,
so to speak.
And if Mappa goes south because of their bad management, people will.
Yeah, that's the thing. I would definitely want to say is management is pretty much the problem here, not really the people in the trenches.
Yeah.
It's almost always management.
Almost always a management issue.
Because again, they really, particularly with the anime, because the anime industry, particularly what it is, they often will use the passion people have against them to get them to work even harder.
Yeah.
Because don't you love your job? Don't you want to see this, completed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, I'll stay late again.
No matter what they want to tell you, your job is not your family.
Yeah, the other thing is also the anime industry is largely non-union.
Yep. Or at least here in the States, the voice actors got a union. The animation,
I can't remember. I think VA in anime in Japan is largely union though.
I don't know.
I'm not sure though.
Here in the States, most of the VA stuff is unionized.
Yeah, most.
Yeah.
I guess actually the anime itself, yeah. So the big thing is there's several, of course. There's kind of the interconnected stuff, but a lot of the episodes kind of are their own thing, or at least there's maybe one other major connection between two episodes or something like that.
Yep.
I mean, you got the initial one where, Kotaro's drunk constantly.
He's in the dumps.
Because they did the show at, what was that place called? Can't remember what it was called now.
It had like an acronym that was commonly called.
Yeah.
Like EFS. EFS.
Ekimai Fudosan Stadium. So yeah, their initial show was a failure, and they're basically trying to rebuild themselves, including the first episode going back to their first venue, which is a death metal thing, and now they're full blown idols, so it's kind of different now, and of course they're being heckled and booed essentially. And then Kotaro finally, after kind of getting his coming back to his senses, kind of what little senses he has, as we know, it's Kotaro. He comes in basically trying to cheer them on, despite the fact that it's bombing hard, and then they basically starts a fight, and then they just perform anyway. It's fine.
It's great.
They perform a song called "Revenge," setting this tone for the rest of the season.
Yep, which was supposed to be the encore song at EFS. It just never happened.
It's one of those things where it's like, yep. This is a Franchushu show, all right.
Yep.
Because they are very much willing to comment on. We have attracted some weird fans.
Very loyal.
Weird but loyal, like the two metalheads.
Like
their
the two
first
metalheads
fans.
at every show.
Yeah, their first fans who are loyal as heck. Stuff like that. So it's like you got that, and then you got the next episode, which Saki with White Ryu, the person who inspired her to be who she is, to be, if the world hits you, hit back.
Yep.
To be a biker gang leader and everything.
Yep.
Her first love, even.
Yep.
Which, a lot of people were not happy about the fact to find out Saki is, in fact, not a lesbian. Saki is not a lesbian, unfortunately. She can still be bi.
She can still be bi pan. Yeah.
But she's not really a lesbian, I guess, or at least... It can be complicated.
It can be, yeah.
Romantic love and sexual attraction are kind of two different things, and people have a hard time disentangling them in their heads.
Yep.
Then, of course, you got, once again, Junko and Ai having their weird things. Junko having Ai being separated, and for various reasons, including the fact that, the group is kind of getting increasingly reliant on her, and Junko having to be pushed in a leadership position, and Junko doesn't, between her shyness and the fact she's only used to working solo, is kind of starting to spiral until she gets her confidence.
Yep. That night, I think one of the reasons I was out was because they're going to do a show
with Iron Phil.
Yeah, and they were gonna. I just forgot the term where you're front runner.
Opening act.
Yeah, they're the opening act for Iron Phil, and it's like they didn't want I there and get recognized.
The current lead of Iron Phil is because that's the thing. Iron Phil is seems to be one of those groups where you're basically constantly rotating through new talent as time goes on.
Right.
It's one of those because I think the ones that are there are not the same because when I was in Iron Phil it was 2008.
Yeah.
It's now 2019. At least in the anime it's 2019.
Although in that case the current front person for Iron Phil was a big fan of I.
Yeah, so she sees number 3 I here and goes, "You look just like I,
and you're really good. You should join us."
Yeah, she tried to poach I from Franchushu, saying Franchushu's beneath you.
Yep. And that was a whole plot point for a bit,
particularly with Junko.
Yep.
Yeah, Junko got kind of like, no, she's mine. She's ours.
Got a little jealous.
Yeah. And then you guys got Lily versus the kind of the little jerk, snot-nosed brat childhood star person.
Yep, that whole thing.
And her having to, basically in the span of like 5 minutes, redo her entire thing.
Yep, rearrange her song completely. Yeah.
Yep. And of course, we got the Ty episode finally. A day in the life of Ty.
Day in the life of Ty.
Life of Ty.
Yeah. I haven't seen Life of Pi
Neither
yet.
have I.
I've heard it's really good, but I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either. I don't care. I actually don't care enough to watch it.
Yep. We got the Ty episode, but it didn't explain anything about her.
Except it kind of did. Well, her current self. But
her current self.
It didn't explain her backstory because that's a whole different thing.
That is happening in a different media.
Yep. And then you got they introduced a new character, a 7th member, or actually 8th member.
Yep, they get an 8th member, number 7.
Number 7, Mai Yuzuriha.
Yep, high schooler
Who, because Kotaro's an idiot and didn't check for impulse, more or less stumbles into the secret of Franchushu's a bunch of zombies.
Yep.
She doesn't care that much.
Yep.
But she's like, let me join.
And they're like, what? Okay.
And then she realizes she doesn't actually fit in with them, and so she quits.
And so she quits.
After one show.
Yep.
Because she realizes she's kind of taking away from their experience, because their whole thing is they're getting a second chance, and she's like, she hasn't even had her first chance.
Yep. Well, that was kind of your first chance, and you just kind of let it go.
But then again, though, it's just like she did kind of more or less kind of force her way in.
Yeah.
It's like it makes sense that she kind of wants to, give herself do her own path.
It does.
Yeah. Then of course you got the 2-parter with Yugiri and her backstory, which took place back in the 1800s. Suddenly the idol anime becomes historical drama.
Yep, that was a thing.
Complete with revolutions and rebellion and beheadings and.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
That was a thing.
Yeah, and Yugiri clearly, Yugiri and Kichi.
Yeah.
Clearly a thing there.
Clearly a thing.
It's pretty heavily implied she was in love with him, but unfortunately she had to take the fall so he could live.
Yep.
Dang, Yugiri is hardcore, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Basically, the last few episodes are the lead up to the final concert, everything, including the disaster, which is a giant storm takes out everything, and the concert becomes a charity concert, and they're going to use it to more or less reunite Saga into be like, hey, yeah, we can do this. And they have to stay at a shelter for a while. Kotaro's missing in action for a while, and they finally are able to get all together and get the concert going, and they have an amazing concert. It was packed in the same stadium. It's packed and everything, and everything's great. The end.
Yep. And the reporter, through this entire time, the reporter that's been investigating them finds out the truth.
Yep. He finds out because
he's
following Ty around after seeing, one of because he's the thing, he's been writing articles about Franchushu, and one of the things actually I was commenting how he's actually critical of us, so we know we can trust his reporting.
Yep.
So he sees Ty, number 0, out on the street, and he goes,
starts following.
Because he's already had these suspicions because he's, Junko. He recognized Junko and was like, that's so weird. And,
yeah,
it's like, is Franchushu a bunch of lookalikes? If so, who the heck are these people then?
Yep.
That sort of thing. And he starts following number 0, and then
his coworker throws the joke, maybe they're a bunch of zombies.
Funny.
And it's ha 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 ha.
Funny.
And then he found more information, so wait a minute. And it was able to find the lookalikes of everyone but Yugiri, I believe.
Well, you're
or
kind
something
of
like that.
You're kind of really misrepresenting that.
I am.
But,
a little bit. He did a whole bunch of research.
What happens is he follows Ty, and then he follows him back to the mansion. First, he's like, "Oh, this was nothing. This was a waste of my time." And then he kind of decides to look again, and oh my God, her head's off.
Yep, because
her head came off, and then he has photographic. Oh my God, they are zombies.
Yep, and
then he really starts researching, and he finds out all of them. All of them except for Yugiri, which there's no record on because it makes sense. Yeah. She was just some courtesan back in the 1800s.
Yep.
Of course, and on top of that, she was considered an enemy of the state, so it's possible they struck her name from some records or whatever.
Yep.
So he figured out that all of them, and he confronts Kotaro saying, "You are exploiting dead women for profit. You need to stop this, or I will
go public
with it." And Kotaro's, "We're going to have this show." He's like, what? And he comes to realize that it's not Kotaro's not exploiting them. That he realizes stuff about him, so he winds up helping them in the end.
Yep, and it was during the disaster as the idols that are in the shelter helping out and keeping morale up and all that sort of stuff. He realizes like, yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's just throwing them on. That's punishing them too. That's not cool.
Yep.
And the thing is, it's heavily implied he's, there's this whole thing with the Giri thing. They kind of had all these characters look suspiciously similar to these modern day characters, including himself. Yeah. It's, what's his face?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember his name.
What's his face's
Ito.
friend who ends up being
Ito.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Ito and Kichi look very, very similar and are voiced by the same people as Kotaro and the reporter. I can never remember the reporter's name either. What was it? It was where was it? Arata Okaba. He was the reporter.
Yeah.
So he's the one who's like, it's a kind of weird thing. Like, these two people were way back in the past were kind of friends, but then wound up being enemies, and yeah.
Yep.
Now here we got enemies becoming friends.
Yep.
Kind of.
I guess.
Anyway.
I guess in
Stuff
a way.
like that. It's a weird thing.
It's weird.
Yeah, so again, there's a lot of good stuff in here, and it's just fun to watch. And you got Saki, just her love of White Ryu, and her just
God, that whole thing, White Ryu and his pompadour, holy
this
crap,
amazing
that whole
pompadour. Which now it's kind of, he's old, and now it's kind of all floppy. You can't keep it up anymore.
That's what happens when you get older.
Exactly.
That's what pills are for.
I wonder if that was the intention there.
I would not be surprised.
But the guy, White Ryu there just kind of speaks in these kind of very weird mystic ways, and just these, everyone's like, what the heck are you talking about? But Saki's like, I get it.
Get it.
She's just hanging on to every word, just yeah.
Yep.
Because again, she was basically fell in love with the guy.
The finale of that episode.
Oh yeah, where she's crying because he tells her to, she confesses to him, and he tells her to look him up again when she gets a bit older, and it's like, I'll never get older because I'm a zombie. And she kind of breaks down crying.
And then, White Ryu tells her that he's quitting the radio show.
That was the thing, yeah. Too.
And then, she's
freaked out. You can't do that.
Out. And then later, and then comes to the conclusion and rushes to the station, the radio station, to tell him, no, you can't. You can't leave. Saga needs you. I need you. Yeah. We all need you. And he goes, I'm leaving. You're taking the show.
Yeah, you're taking the show. And then the producer's like, no. And that's like, nope, it's happening.
It's happening.
So, Saga doesn't need me. It needs someone, but it needs someone who can lead and inspire. And I think you're it.
Yep.
I see your passion.
So basically, Saki plus Franshushu got their own radio show.
Yep, which is a big deal for, helping promote Franshushu.
Yep. And in the finale, it was one of those things that comes back in the finale. They're able to use their radio show to get the word out. And yeah. Also, White Ryu rides around on a white Cadillac, like Elvis. Literally
on
the hood, hands over the draped over
that
the windshield.
Cool.
Because he exudes that's the
thing. It's like that's
cool.
the thing. It's like you see that it's weird when you look at him. You kind of expect that that trope of guy who's cool in like his 20s and now kind of a broken old man. It was like, nope, he's still cool. And it's not pathetic or weird. It's just he's that cool.
Yeah,
he'll always be that cool.
Yep, and it's not a front. He's just authentic like that.
It's just that cool. And of course, that episode was also the Sakura misunderstanding something, deciding to just spin around on the stick, like.
Yep.
Or, oh man, just also some fun stuff like Junko, like just being living up to her name, just being so pure, like being told, idols used to secretly date. They did?
What?
and then asking, did you? And then of course Sakura just going to full fan mode, just did you? or earlier when they were told to talk about the marriage shrine and marriage god, and Sakura asked Junko, marriage? Oh, never. Because Junko it's this weird thing where it's like it's like someone says it's like someone just figuring out that yes, you can be in love. I can do that.
But idols can't do that.
Girls can't love girls.
Especially not idols.
Yeah, exactly. Or stuff like, getting, that's funny, just, once again, Kotaro just being insulting and stuff and called Sakura a ninny hammer. And then after all this, Junko a little bit later, hey, Sakura, yeah, I don't think you're a ninny hammer. Thanks, Junko.
Thanks.
Or later, they have to, their makeup's failing at the end when they're in the shelter because Kotaro's missing and their house collapsed because of the disaster. And they put on masks that the Junko made and just, then they break apart and they're able to, get away with it. Yes, because they almost got outed as zombies, essentially.
Yeah.
But they're able to get away with it because, the kids are like, you're not zombies. Zombies are scary. You're friend Shushu.
You're not scary at all.
And they're able to
play it off like, yes, there's zombie masks.
It's makeup.
It's just makeup.
We're trying to scare you. You got us. Oh, silly us.
Oh, silly us.
Then Junko just gets kind of caught up on the masks weren't good enough, and everyone's like,
that wasn't
Junko, that's not the problem, and just won't you not let go of the mask thing?
Yeah, because that was her job in the first episode. She was making those little dolls and such. So she was like, no, I got to do my job right.
Oh, Junko.
Junko.
Or I having to do a solo thing, and I just still like that one, the joke with the writing on the rice. She opens up her little bento, and then it's like, it just says, you suck. Well, at least the English version.
The English translation.
You suck. Huh? And then, you'll succeed. But because the original was, it looked like it said kaba, which is a weird version of baka.
Yep.
And so, and then you look, it's actually says ganbare.
Ganbare, yep. So the translators did a really good job on that.
Although there's another, funny enough, in the same episode, there's a joke that does not translate because it's difficult. Because there's a point where Junko runs to the beach and he's yelling about I. Makeup washes off, and then the cop, comes out and starts talking, asking her about, if it's like, oh, it's trouble with your love, because she says I, which means love. So the whole joke there is he misunderstands her shouting about I.
Yeah.
And he tries to hit on her and she says, oh, you're underage. And then, she turns around and, the creepy zombie face. And
creepy zombie face.
Because that's the thing. It's like, it's all creepy and weird and stuff. It's like, and every once in a while, just to basically really emphasize that, they're zombies.
Yep. And it's usually with the cop.
Yep,
that's the running joke is the cop.
The cop. Who also winds up actually helping Tai. Because the thing, they had the debt, and Tai more or less wipes out the debt in one fell swoop.
Yeah, that whole episode was great. The Tai episode was
the Tai
great.
episode was great. Of course it was. It's Tai.
Yep. Just wandering around being Tai.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the shopping, and everyone just helps her.
Yeah, it's just funny. It's just like, you think, oh, why are they letting Tai go out on her own? That's a dangerous thing. It's like, Tai bites people and stuff, but it's like weird how they're like, oh, that's just how she is.
That's just how she is.
It's really kind of heartwarming. It's like, they're like, she doesn't really talk. She just kind of growls and grunts, and they're like, oh, hey, number 0, are you here? And then she just like holds up a list and like, oh, grocery shopping. And they help her just get it because it's like they just understand, like, okay, yeah,
that's just Tai. This is
how she is. It's
how
just,
she is.
And they're not judgmental or anything. Just like,
it's great.
Although it's like, Tai, please stop biting my hair. You know it hurt. I told you that hurts.
Yes, but that's how Tai shows affection.
Or the thing where that one woman gives her a little little thing, and it's like, don't eat the wrapper this time. So shoves the whole thing in her mouth and then pulls out the wrapper.
Yeah, that's one thing. Is the whole time Tai hasn't, I guess, awoken, but you can tell that she's somewhat there.
Yeah.
She understands things to a point.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is actually what people notice is actually they've done the subtle thing where it's as both seasons go on, she's getting better and better at dancing. She's actually more and more in sync with everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Versus often she's, early on, she's just kind of doing her own thing off in the corner.
Yep.
But now she's actually more in sync, and she understands stuff. She can understand it. She can empathize with others and stuff. As we saw at the end of season 1, she saw, what was going on with Sakura, and was the one who brought her back, so to speak.
Yeah.
And now, so she can understand others. She can read the mood. She if everyone's ready to fight, she's ready to fight. She can understand, this is a bad. She understands what's going on. It seems like.
Yep.
And it's just interesting on her part that they're doing that. That's like, she can read the mood so well, and she can understand things, and she's capable of doing things on her own.
They send her out shopping. They literally give her a list, go shopping, and she goes shopping.
Yeah. Well, the thing is just, have Romero go with her, just, because keep her on track, because, she is also easily distracted.
Yes, and Romero understands these things too. That dog is very smart.
Oh, let's add the little cute thing where she just kind of has Romero wrap around her arm when she goes into the store.
Yep.
He's like hugging her arm like he's a koala or something. The other thing right there is that was the thing was initially after the initial failure at the show, the EFS, Kotaro's just drunk and they're like, we're stuck here because Kotaro won't do the makeup, so what do? We can't leave, we're kind of stuck here, we're out of food. And then turns out Tai just left and got food because she put on her own makeup.
Yep.
Looked like the Joker, but she put on makeup, so there you go. I'm probably wondering, it's like how people are looking, what are you doing? And probably wondering if maybe it's just some weird dare.
Maybe, I don't know. But then and that was the start of it.
Yeah, it's like, we can just put on our own makeup. But that's the thing is like they can never get it quite right. Some reason Kotaro can do something that just makes them actually look alive versus when they do it themselves, they look kind of sickly.
Yep.
But at least they look human.
Human enough to pass.
Yep. The whole thing was Lily was, it's the interesting thing, their dichotomy with that child star who's, he wants to be taken seriously. He wants to keep, going because, child stars, pretty good with television and stuff like.
They burn out real quick.
They can burn out, or it's like, they try to actually go from child star to, serious actor later on, and they're never taken seriously.
Yep.
And he's trying so hard to look more grown up, and he's just like almost practically rubbing in her face that, yeah, you can be all cutesy and stuff, but I'm gonna show how mature I am.
Yeah.
Also, he's just a little prick.
He's just a prick. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that whole thing, and then of course, winding up using the same song, and it's like, uh-oh, and Lily doing her whole the scat remix of it.
Yep.
And of course, even though she lost, she in the end still won. It's like all those old American Idol stuff where it's like all these winners never kind of fade in obscurity, but the runners up always wind up having the big career.
Yep.
It's that sort of thing. She's the one who went viral.
Yep. He knew it too.
Yeah, he knew. It's like he knew I didn't really win.
Yeah, when the winner was announced, he was like, I shouldn't know.
I shouldn't be the winner.
Why
am I the winner?
Have been the winner on that.
Yeah, because that's always the thing. It's like somehow the judges screwed up. Always screwed up. They picked the wrong person.
Well, in something like this, you can always just say, yeah, they picked the existing popular, wealthy, known one. Someone may have, lined a pocket or two.
Oh, man. Throwing out those accusations.
I mean, it wouldn't be too far off for that particular character.
Another thing I like, they show that Tai can play the drums and play them very well. And in that same episode, they showed Junko was also a guitarist. And she played acoustic guitar way back when she was a solo idol and alive, and now she's playing electric guitar after being kind of chewed out a little bit by Kotaro. You just gotta smash it, and he's it's like okay. So then she plays guitar on stage, does an amazing job, and then she smashes the guitar.
Kotaro's
horror. Like, oh no, what have you done to my baby? And when you think about it, this is one of the things that actually people have noted, which is smashing a guitar like that's really hard.
Like an electric guitar like that? Yeah.
It's solid wood.
Those are usually, especially because that looked like your standard Stratocaster or whatnot. Standard, and those are usually solid body guitars. Acoustic bodies, or if you went like
even
a hollow body,
even smashing an acoustic guitar like that is hard.
Yeah, a lot easier because they're very thin and hollow.
But it's still hard. You don't usually, unless they're just specifically designed to, they don't break apart like that.
Yeah. So
her smashing like that, and people have noted that she smashed it that hard, just shattered it,
splintered.
And then on top of that, you see stuff like Saki in an earlier episode riding a bike so hard the tire bursts, and then she keeps going, and then just going incredibly fast.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So she's pedaling ridiculous, and then stuff like Tai literally beating like massive dents into a side of a van and other things. They're like, are the zombies? Are they all just physically really strong, and none of them really thought about it?
Well, when you're dead, you don't have the physical limits of life.
Yeah,
right?
That's one of the things people pointed out. Is like, because that's the thing. Is like people actually can be really strong. It's just your body stops you from doing that because it doesn't want to, destroy itself in the process.
Well, when you don't have to worry about destroying yourself anymore.
Yeah, there's that, and also it's because they're resurrected via supernatural methods.
Yep. their arms come off, their limbs come off.
So it makes sense that they're actually all just really strong. I don't think that haven't really occurred to any of them.
I'm just remembering this scene with Junko on the roof with the guitar, like you started, and Sakura joins her,
slips,
and then only part of her joins her.
Slips, and then Junko tries to grab her and accidentally just grabs the hair, head pops off, the rest of the body just rolls off and hits the ground. And
so then they're just on the roof having a conversation with Junko and Sakura's head.
Yep. And then Sakura's body finally wanders back up there, and Sakura's able to reattach herself. Or of course, Sakura getting surprised, eyes pop out.
Yep.
When Saki fist right where you is just eyes pop out, has to catch them and try to hide the fact their eyes.
Yeah.
Or stuff like that. Or Tide just biting someone and I think Junko freaking out in the background.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Or I joined them back on stage on that one. On the Iron Frill one, and reached out to grab her so she can get on stage, and of course her arm starts to pop off, and so Junko tries to pull her forward, and it's like, that's not how that works, and they both fall into the pit.
Not how it works.
And then electrify themselves to do another remix of Mizami Returner.
Yep, yet another remix.
Because they can do that, and doing the laser light show, and Tai showing that yes, she is actually an angel because she had the wings and everything.
Yeah.
I told y'all, but you didn't listen to me.
Yeah, well, who else would be able to fight the things she used to fight?
Yeah, and of course the eighth member, Mai. She's a clumsy weirdo.
Yep,
with a weird name, as she even says herself. She's a huge fan of Fran Shushu, and yeah, she goes into the bathhouse, of course, her glasses are cracked, so she doesn't see the fact she's going to the men's side of the bathhouse. And there's a guy in there, he loses his soap and it falls on the ground, and she slips on it, and falls and goes unconscious, and he freaks out, and turns out it's Kotaro. And that whole scene right there when he brings Mai back to the house was just amazing. I just he's just sitting there, it wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything. I didn't do it. It wasn't my fault. He's so quiet. Just and they're like, what is it? Is that a body? We got a new member of Fran Shushu and all that stuff. And then she wakes up and starts wandering around blindly because she's wrapped up in cloth or something, and then Sakura and Junko flip out because
oh no, it's a
they're freaking out because oh no, it's moving, and then they're saying things like the dead don't move, bodies shouldn't be moving. It's like that's just a brilliant piece of writing. Just zombies freaking out over a body getting back up, and then finally accidentally Mai wanders and Sakura pops her head off and then lands her head. It's like, huh? So you're dead, right? Wait, am I dead? And then, nope, she wasn't.
I wasn't dead. You didn't check the pulse.
So now it revealed the secret to someone, and she seems to be largely, although initially she was completely almost blind because no glasses.
Yep.
But she seems to be okay with the fact, Fran Shushu is secretly zombie. That's fine.
Yeah, because Mai is just constantly cheerful about everything.
Yeah, that's fine. She's no freaking out, no panic, and they're like, oh. And someone was like, Sakura's like, well, maybe it's not a big deal. And it's like, you literally were shot, Sakura. That cop shot you because he thought you were a monster.
Yep.
Then again, also, he's a cop, so.
He's a cop, so I guess that's just expected.
Yep. When you're dealing with a cop, just expect to get shot.
Yep.
Yeah, this Mai winds up kind of pseudo blackmailing them into letting her join. Even though she's not a very good singer or dancer, but they're able to crash course her into being better, including she then gets them to perform at her school festival because they're struggling for ideas, and yeah.
It worked out in the end.
Yeah, it worked out. And then she quit.
Yep.
Because she realized, again, she doesn't really fit in. Yep. She doesn't have the same experiences they do.
I think that was a good way to go, because there's always a worry when they just start adding new characters to a show. It's like, what's
funny is she was appearing at all the concerts beforehand.
Yeah, but whenever a show just randomly adds a new character, there's always that worry.
Yep, every single time it's like, uh-oh.
But this time, new character?
Not really.
Not really. It's
okay. Of course, the thing is, she was likable enough that people, it's that weird thing like, this weird that I like this character so much, I want her to die.
Oh, yeah, that whole thing.
That if she dies, she becomes a zombie, and then she can be part of the group now.
Yep.
Because people like her. She's fun.
Yep, she was fine. She was good.
She was fun. And then she was also the one who kind of got a lot of people on board for the final concert.
Yep.
That was...
Because that was the thing. It's a whole bunch of isolated incidents.
All comes together, though.
That all eventually lead and connect into the end. So all the friendships and bonds that they made through all the little things and isolated things, all at the end came together.
Yep. Oh yeah, you got the whole thing with Maria from the new Dorami and all the other rival gang and that whole thing. Or Entai winning that bet because she just sneezed on the paper right, and then she won enough money to completely pay off their debt.
Yep. Yep.
The other thing, what was it?
Well, there's the whole thing about the curse.
Oh, yeah, the curse. Because the whole thing is like this kind of teases in season 1, Jofuku. Okay, so there's a whole thing in Japanese folklore about a guy who came to Japan, particularly the Saga Prefecture, and he found a secret to immortality when he caught there.
Yep.
And his name was Jofuku, or at least in the Japanese version. Apparently, there's also a Chinese version of this one. They tied into this. Jofuku is, as he says, I am Saga. No, Saga is me.
Yep.
Basically, he and Saga are completely tied together, and he shows that he was there in Yugiri's flash in the backstory. We see him there. He's there. The thing is, he's on his deathbed because Saga is no more.
Yep.
At least not physically. But the spirit of Saga was still alive, if barely.
Yep.
That's the only reason he was holding on. But yeah, Yugiri, of course, helped him with that. But he made a brief mention about how he could bring back the dead.
Yep.
And also he was like eating fried squid and he throws one out. And look, a little dog. Is that Romero? Is that the Romero? Because the thing was a lot of lookalikes were there because we saw like a Sakura selling fish or something and I chasing a bunch of kids and so on and so forth.
Yep.
Or Tai almost running over Kichi. Stuff like that. So it's like they're officially credited as lookalikes, but people are speculating that they're doing the whole ancestor looks just like you thing.
Yep.
And those are supposed to be ancestors to the modern day Franchushu. Yeah, there's that whole thing. So it's Jofuku. Something with him is a zombie thing, and he was the one who probably resurrected them. But he predicted that at the beginning of the Reiwa era that a curse would befall Saga, a disaster would befall Saga that would not only destroy it, but destroy it so efficiently that Saga would basically just fade away from people's memories.
Yep.
And that's what the whole thing was. The Zombieland Saga project was designed to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yep.
And then turns out the curse was also affecting these girls. These girls apparently and supposedly all were killed by the curse.
Yep. So they couldn't.
Because all of them are on the verge of bringing glory to Saga.
Yep.
So we can't have that. And that's one of the things. It's the implication is Sakura's bad luck. Because if you notice, she was often really good at stuff, but every single time when it actually came down to the actual thing, bad luck would strike. She'd get sick. She'd pull a muscle or something, and she couldn't do the thing she was, practicing for. But she was always really good at it.
Yep.
And then, she was in the funk. She gave up, and that was the thing. Curse probably just like, okay, fine, you're not a problem anymore. You gave up.
And then Iron fell.
And she went, and then the curse went, fine. Because that was the thing was when his, I remember there's one of the things is the report, it's all in, Japanese. But he did the research, found out, Sakura, who were real identities. And the story about the truck drivers, he claimed that there's a bright light and stuff on there that something basically, the idea would be something caused him to go speeding down that road, even though he normally wouldn't have, type thing.
Yep.
So the implication is something supernatural happened.
Yep.
So that's interesting of itself.
So yeah, there's some curse that's trying to keep Saga from becoming a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps failing.
It
sort of succeeds, and then the zombies are bringing it. Yeah.
Yeah, but then of course, now we're at the big storm, which is like, this is it. We see Jofuku is actually, he's not in good shape again.
Not in good shape again.
Because yeah, he appeared in season 1, and he was like, you take care of her. I owe her a lot, that girl a lot, and yeah, that's he was referring to Yugiri, and
yep,
yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. Yugiri's actions in her time
mm-hmm.
can let Saga continue to this day, even with her sacrifice.
That's another thing is, Kichi way back in the 1800s gave Yugiri a comb, and she still has the comb in modern now.
Yep.
Somehow, of all things, that's the one thing she still has from her previous life, and it's actually there in the first season as well.
I wonder if she had it on her person and was buried with it. It's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, so that Jofuku had it.
Or Jofuka. Yeah, could be.
Gave it to Kotaro, who gave it to Yugiri.
Yeah, could be.
Because Jofuku had that picture of Yugiri, Kichi, and...
Yep, that old black and white photo.
Yeah, and Ito.
Yep. It's like, what kind of material is that comb made of? Survive that long.
Oh.
Then the storm came and destroyed all of Saga.
Yep.
Except it didn't quite do enough because they were able to bring everyone together.
Yep, everything's great now.
Everything's great.
The curse is broken, right? Well, the curse decided to throw the table across the room. And then, last 17 seconds, literally like 18 seconds of the show. What's that? Is that it?
It's just, Independence Day.
It's just Independence Day aliens. Don't worry about it. Oh, yeah. And it just blew up everything. And that's how it ends.
Freaking giant alien saucer
shows up
over the city and big green beam, kaboom. Like Independence Day.
Yep. More bluish, but yeah.
Oh.
Yep. And so now it's
credits roll.
Yep.
Season's over.
Actually, no, credits are actually rolled at this one. This is post-credits.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, it's just.
And then it just goes white screen. It's over.
It's over.
And it's like, what?
Excuse me, what?
You can't do that. That's illegal.
That's what they did. So now there's aliens.
Yep. I mean, we already have zombies. We have an immortal supernatural being.
Might as well have aliens.
Why not? So here's the thing. Okay, speculation.
Space.
So speculation, because during April Fool's Day, they put out a little a poster on April Fool's Day, basically announcing a Zombieland Saga movie called Zombies vs. Aliens. And now it's like, was that a April Fool's Day joke, or was that a legitimate announcement they hid as an April Fool's Day joke?
Yeah. So
now no one really knows for sure, and we're like a little like, is this the thing? Is this where we're going? Is it the next thing going to be a movie? Is it going to be season 3? Because you can't just end it like that. Particularly since Zombieland Saga season 1 did really well. Season 2 so far, the Blu-ray Volume 1 has actually number 1 for anime right now. So that's great. So it's like, Is this
where we're going?
Where we're going? Are we going zombies in space? Are we really going this direction? Because that's the thing. Once you go to space, there's no coming back. You don't come back down from that. It's like once you get to space, there's really not much else to do. So it makes you think, well, I would suspect a movie because, it's a good round thing. 2 seasons of a movie seems pretty standard for something fairly popular like this, but you can't keep it going forever, obviously.
Yeah. You don't want to become The Simpsons.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Or Fairly Odd Parents.
You don't want that either. Yeah, just aliens.
Aliens.
And that's one of the things is people theorizing that possibly that light that truck driver saw that killed Sakura
was aliens.
Yeah. Also, there's a hit and run. That was the thing. That was a hit and run. He actually drove off.
Yep.
Afterwards, because probably panic because God, I hit a teen. Run, just run.
Yep.
Also, there's that funny thing where I just remember Kotaro seducing like the school principal at my school because he does that to like so many people. Just grabs them by the chin, lifts up, and they're just they can't help this. Like, oh, okay. And one other thing, which isn't actually in season 2, but is attached to the same day that the Thai episode aired, a magazine came out, which it's a manga magazine, and it had a story in it called Zombieland Saga Gaiden, The First Zombie. It's Thai's backstory.
Yep.
They spun it off into its own thing rather than, because apparently it's a lot more complicated in that, I said it before on a different episode, but Thai was an office lady demon hunter.
Yep.
Oh, okay. And also apparently a bit of a chuny.
Apparently.
But yeah, she hunted demons, and the manga takes place in the 1989, I believe. And yeah, she's hunting demons. She has a whole team and everything. She has to replace one of them because one of them got turned into an onion by a demon, and she has to go to her brother to replace her, and he kind of sucks. And she more or less acts, well, if anything, Kotaro acts like her apparently because she's yelling at him and doing all this, basically Kotaro's whole shtick.
Yep.
And it's also we find she lived in the house that they currently live in now. Oh, that van is the same van we see in the series. He just stole everything from her. It's like, no wonder she's number 0. Well, possibly, but there's another thing, which is, as we saw in her episode, she went through a graveyard and started eating stuff, which, freaked out the reporter, because you don't do that.
No, you don't.
That's
not just a Japanese thing.
That's stealing from the dead. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Then we see the grave. It's the Yamada family grave, and right next to the Minamoto family grave. And it's like, are these two families connected?
Or do they just have to be graves next to each other?
They just happen to be next to each other. It's one of those things. Are they connected? And that's also basically, that's actually literally is Tai's food. She can eat if she wants to.
Yeah.
It's hers.
Yeah, it was put on her grave.
But yeah, it's Minamoto, Sakura's family grave, and the Yamada family grave are right next to each other. So it's one of those things. It's two theories. One, the kind of funny one is Kotaro messed up and went to the wrong grave. But the fact that he's in the same house with the using driving the same van and everything, which means there is some connection already between him and Tai.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised
and also, more of this. People noted Sakura and Tai seem to have developed quite the bond.
Yeah.
So it's like, makes me wonder, is there a connection there that we're not aware of yet?
Maybe.
So that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing is also, Tai was working for Jufuku as well. Trying to basically get rid of demons because, they're trying to hurt Saga, and so we gotta stop them.
Yeah, I think we'll find out as more of that.
Yeah,
magazine.
We'll find out because we're not even sure how old Tai actually is at this point in the manga, because she died at 29. It's possible she's still in like her early or mid-20s at this point. We don't know exactly for sure, but based on the fact she seems to be covered in bandages and comes apart easily, she was probably killed while fighting demons.
Probably.
So we're gonna find that out at some point. But yeah, it's a very different tone than the anime, because it's a whole different kind of story.
Yeah. It's also a manga, so.
Yeah. On top of that, people are a little worried because like some people don't like Tai's old personality. I guess they just find her, too harsh.
I get.
It's weird because then they'll turn around and say Kotaro's great. It's like, but they're the same essentially. Kotaro basically, wouldn't surprise me. Kotaro literally based his whole shtick off Tai.
Possibly, but there's also the whole Tai. We only know Tai in the anime as a zombie, which isn't really representative of her quote unquote real personality. Yeah. So people have associated their own headcanons with what she's like.
Yeah, and now it's
that's just,
this is who she is.
Yeah, you're going, if you do that, chances are you're going to be disappointed.
And the other manga for Zombieland Saga, there's another manga which also has not been translated to English anyway. But someone noted there's a bit where in that Tai's just looking at a book with pictures in it, and she sees this woman in there, and she just kind of gets this look on her face, like this look of recognition. Like, and the thing is, then cut to the guidance manga, and surprise, same woman from when Tai. It's like part of Tai still is in there somewhere, swimming around her head, because that pretty much killed the weird theory that Tai and Romero's brains are swapped.
Yeah,
that was a weird theory going on. I was like, I don't buy it, and it turns out it was very much wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if Tai will ever. That's still the question. Will Tai ever quote unquote awaken?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because at this point, that means a completely different dynamic is going to be established right there and then.
Yeah, it would. I don't know how they do it. Maybe if they do a movie and it's the end.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking like the most likely thing, if they wake up Tai, it'd have to be pretty much at the end of the story.
Yeah, maybe
she wakes up and she kicks alien butt.
Well, that's why maybe just completely off the wall. Prediction, which is most likely wrong. The aliens and the demons that Tai fought are actually the same. And when they go into space and they end up dealing with the demons, that's revealed, and that's what wakes Tai up, and she starts kicking butt, and they all defeat them, and that's the end.
Everyone's just like,
that's how she wakes up, is because the aliens end up being the demons, and that connects her to her past as a demon hunter, and that's what wakes her up,
or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I know, it's probably wrong, but...
Or she wakes up because, oh no.
Or she has to. She's like the last option.
Yeah. Or she might just probably never wakes up at all. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. It's all speculation.
Another thing about Kotaro that was fun, I was thinking about, which is, so people like, the going theory is how he acts around Francis Shu is an all an act, because, he entered that same competition that Lily did in her episode. And he's all quiet and shy and awkward, and he says, "I'm going to do a mud skipper impersonation." What?
What?
What the heck are you doing?
Yep.
That was also funny because he always does the whole, how because I'm us. Yeah, he goes in the whole thing, and then rants at them and mocks them, and except that time, Lily took over, and he's just so sad. It wouldn't surprise me. He literally was trying to sign them up to do this whole show, and like Lily came and took over, and he has to panic and fill in
something like
for the slot, and he doesn't know what to do. Or of course the water gun bit with that, and he's as he goes full blown like first person view, reticle and everything. He's shooting with the water gun and stuff. Like Saki tries to bum rush him, fails. Lily protects Yugiri, and then Tai just drinks the water. And also he starts cursing at them, and they beep it and everything. Or we're just yelling you can't relax, you're in debt. And it's like, whose fault is it we're in debt? And he's covering his ears. He's like, stop acting like a kid. He's pretending he can't hear anything. Or of course just full blown just goes to like the government guys and like, you need to get this stadium reopened so Franjuku should perform, and just like comes in, will not leave.
Yep.
You gotta help. That whole thing. Yeah, so it's the whole thing, and then him and Sakura having their moments in that episode as well, where it's like, yeah. And he even had a song. He had a song. Yeah. Yeah, but they had their moment because her thanking him for making her an idol, making her dreams come true.
Yep.
Very sweet. So I'm still a little leery. I'm hoping, please do not make this a weird romantic thing. Do not.
Please
don't you dare.
Don't
you dare. That's just gross. For various reasons. Oh, the other thing, Ty's dance off with the chicken guy.
Oh, because
she's going so fast. It looks like her head's not moving.
Yep.
Right.
That's
exactly what's happening.
Yep.
Not just her head standing still.
Yep. Also, her moment in the finale.
Yep. The Freddie Mercury moment.
Yep, the Freddie Mercury moment.
Yeah, which it's possible she saw that show and some part of her brain. And that's the other thing, which actually I'm wondering about, because early in season 1, Tai would frequently chase after Junko, trying to bite her and stuff, and it's like Tai was alive in the 80s. She was like in her 20s, and probably let's say she was actually 29, 1989. That means she grew up at the same time Junko was popular. It's possible Tai was a fan of Junko when she was younger, and some part of her brain recognized Junko, and while being Tai, kind of shows her affection the only way she knows how, trying to bite her.
Yep.
That's my theory, and I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, because that is how Tai shows affection. Just chew on you.
It makes sense. It just makes sense. The timing makes sense. She's 29 in 1989. Junko died in like 1982 at 19 years old. They would have been close to the same age. So it would make sense.
It would make sense.
Tai to have possibly been a fan of Junko. And also, again, being a fan of Freddie Mercury, because who isn't a fan of Freddie Mercury?
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
It's amazing.
I love it.
It's great.
It's so much fun. It's got a lot of great little jokes, subtle, big. The characters are still fun. It's an idol anime that dares to be more than an idol anime.
And does a very good job at it.
Mm-hmm. It's been so much fun to watch, and I'm really, really looking forward to more, and I'm really hoping that they'll actually get more. And not just, that's how it ends.
That's just
aliens
it.
Blow up Saga, and that's the end.
Yeah.
I really hope there's something to continue it regardless. Actually, one thing I'd love to actually have is if the Gaiden manga, the first zombie manga, was also animated.
Well, that would be interesting.
I would love that. I don't know how long that's going to be, but it's running for a while at least. It's still going. It's only, says at the time recording, only 2 chapters have been released. I'm still also hoping for the other manga to get officially translated at some point, because that's already over. So I'm not sure how long if ever that's going to be translated. I hope it gets translated. Even fan translators haven't really bothered with that one. I don't know why. If they have, I haven't seen it. Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
It is. It is really good.
And also one of the things that's also nice is that voice actors themselves really love it too. They love doing this.
Yeah.
They have a lot of fun with it and everything. And it's also weird when you think about it, it's also basically a glorified tourist advertisement anime for the Saga Prefecture.
Yeah. Hey,
and it also worked.
If it works.
And it worked too, because Saga tourism was going up until, well, things happened. Things happened out of their control. A disaster befell not just Saga, but the world.
Yeah.
Still is happening.
Yeah.
So that's, we'll see. Oh, and of course, it technically got banned by the Russian government. Because it's a depiction of reincarnation, which is thought to encourage suicide by lawmakers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, it's still the whole UK Parliament thing with Lily. This little girl's threatening us with a gun. Then you should just shut up, turf.
Yeah.
Other one interesting thing, they don't have, it's weird, they're Psy games, made by Psy Games, right? But they don't have a game of their own, but they keep crossing over with other stuff, including most recently, the mobile game Bang Dream.
Oh yeah, the Bang Dream
they're having a little crossover thing, including apparently it's the...
Didn't that just get another season announced too?
I don't know. A cover version of Autobahn Necromancy, which is the first season's OP. And that's the other thing, songs. We barely touched on them. The songs are amazing.
Idle anime, and we haven't even talked about it.
That's because there's so much stuff that's so great. But the song, every song is amazing. I love the music in this thing.
Yeah, it's good songs. It's great.
I mean, a rock song with Junko's old soft rock thing from when she was solo. The cover they did, the Right Ryu song that Saki was the lead on, and it's just, yeah.
Yeah.
And the final episode, that's the weird thing. The final episode is pretty much 2/3 just a concert.
Yeah.
With full versions of the songs rather than often they'll cut them down to like a 2 minute, like minute and a half or so.
Yeah.
Nope, these are full versions.
Yep. Full songs.
And it works. It's like, yeah, this is what they're building towards. They're building to the concert. So of course it's going to be the concert.
Of course. Right.
It works. And it's great. And it's fun. And you're just there. And the other thing was Kotaro, some blood came out of him apparently at some point at the end. It's like, oh, what's going on with him? And he's trying to hide the fact that he's bleeding. He's like, what's that about?
Yeah.
Makes you wonder. It's when he said he had a time limit, was not just that he needs to save Saga, it was there a time limit for him too.
Yeah. They answered a bunch of questions only to ask a lot more as well.
They had more questions, like including, well, what about the aliens?
The aliens.
and someone just thought the thing, it was like Kotaro just coming back. It's like they thought he's dead. It's like, what? You thought I couldn't come back as a zombie too? Are you stupid?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping for more.
Yeah.
There should be more. If there's not more, there's something wrong with the world. So that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed us gushing about zombies. I just love this so much.
It's such a great show. It really is.
Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, you could check out other episodes, both past and future, at newtoweeaboo.libsyn.com. It's spelled Labsyn. You could go there and subscribe to the RSS feed, or of course go to the other destinations, either via the buttons at the top, or just going there. There's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and Amazon Podcasts. On any of those, you can search New to Weeaboo and subscribe that way or whatever if you want. You could also contact us via email, newtoweeaboo@gmail.com, if you have questions or criticisms or what you think about Zombieland Saga Revenge. Do you have any anime recommendations for us? Anything you want us to watch? That sort of thing. May not all necessarily get to it, but if we look at it, we like what we see, we might go ahead and talk about it. And of course, there's our Twitter at newtoweeaboo if you want to follow us on there. And of course, there's our personal Twitters. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1, and he's at Alcatraz the 77T and _ at the end. Next time, we'll be talking about something that he's been, I guess, really, really wanting to talk about. Your Name.
Kimi no Na wa.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about that one. So stick around to then.
Yep.
Again, hope you guys take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.